The old schoolhouse stood atop a desolate hill. Its stone walls were weathered and grey like the face of a corpse. The wind howled through the broken windows, carrying with it the scent of decay. Generations of students had passed through its darkened halls. Many whispered tales of strange and unsettling occurrences. But the truth, buried deep within the school's history, was far more sinister. It lurked in the shadows, waiting to be unleashed. The desks, ancient and scarred, held the darkest secret of the school. Each scratch and mark on their surfaces whispered of a troubled past. They had borne witness to unspeakable horrors. Legend had it that the desks were once possessed by the tormented souls of students. Students who had met untimely and gruesome ends within those very walls. Their pain and suffering, it seemed, had seeped into the wood, staining them with an indelible evil. The new semester began, and unsuspecting students filled the old classrooms. They felt an immediate discomfort, a cold shiver that ran down their spines as they took their seats. Some dismissed it as the chill of the drafty old building, but others, more attuned to the unseen, felt a presence. It was as if they were being watched, scrutinized by unseen eyes. As days turned into weeks, the strange occurrences began. Whispers echoed through the empty hallways. Footsteps creaked on the wooden floors when no one was around. Objects moved on their own, as if guided by unseen hands. The air grew heavy, thick with a palpable sense of dread. The darkness that had slumbered for years was stirring, awakened by the presence of the unwitting students. Section 5, a series of haunting events. One by one, students began to experience terrifying encounters. They felt icy breaths on their necks, heard their names whispered in the dead of night. Some even saw fleeting glimpses of shadowy figures lurking in the corners of their vision. Their nightmares were plagued by visions of the school. They dreamed of being trapped within its walls, pursued by malevolent entities. The line between dreams and reality blurred, leaving them disoriented and terrified. Section 6. Fear grips the students. Panic spread through the student body like wildfire. Word of the hauntings spread quickly, amplified by whispered rumors and terrified accounts. The once familiar classrooms now felt like prisons, each desk a potential conduit to the other side. The school, once a place of learning and laughter, had become a breeding ground for terror. The haunted desks, once silent witnesses to history, were now active participants in a nightmare. Section 7. Unveiling the sinister history. In the heart of the night, the school stood silent, its dark corridors whispering secrets of a forgotten past. Desperate for answers, a small group of students decided to investigate the school's history. They gathered in a dimly lit room, their faces illuminated by the flickering light of a single lantern, whispering amongst themselves. They delved into dusty archives, poring over old yearbooks and faded newspaper clippings. The air was thick with dust, and the silence was only broken by the sound of pages turning and the occasional gasp of discovery. What they uncovered sent chills down their spines. Each document they read seemed to reveal a darker, more sinister layer of the school's past. Decades ago, a fire had swept through the school, claiming the lives of several students. The black and white footage showed the school engulfed in flames, a tragic event that had been buried in the annals of time. The fire had started in the very classroom where they now sat, a chilling realization that made the room feel even colder and more foreboding. The desks they used were the same ones that had been present on that fateful day. Each desk bore the marks of time, with names carved into the wood, a haunting reminder of the students who once sat there, their lives tragically cut short. Section 8. Trapped within the school. Armed with this knowledge, the students realized the horrifying truth. They were not just haunted by the desks, they were trapped by them. The spirits, bound to the desks by their untimely deaths, sought revenge against the living. The air grew heavy, the temperature plummeting as a wave of icy cold swept through the room. The desks rattled and shook, as if alive, their wooden surfaces contorting into grotesque faces. Section 9. A desperate escape. Realizing the gravity of their situation, the students knew they had to escape the school, and they had to do it now. The air was thick with tension, and every creak of the floorboards sent shivers down their spines. They could feel the oppressive weight of unseen eyes watching their every move, making their hearts race even faster. But the spirits had other plans. These malevolent entities thrived on fear and chaos, and they were determined to keep their prisoners trapped within the cursed schoolhouse. The students could sense the malevolence in the air, a chilling presence that seemed to grow stronger with every passing second. They were determined to keep their prisoners trapped within the cursed schoolhouse. The walls seemed to close in on them, and the temperature dropped, causing their breath to become visible in the cold, eerie air. The students' panic grew as they realized that the spirits were not just trying to scare them, they were actively working to prevent their escape. The students made a desperate run for the exit, but every path seemed to lead to a dead end. Their footsteps echoed loudly in the empty hallways, a constant reminder of their isolation. They tried door after door, only to find them all locked or leading to nowhere. The sense of hopelessness began to set in, but they knew they couldn't give up. Doors slammed shut, hallways twisted and turned, and the air grew thick with the sound of maniacal laughter. The laughter seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once, a haunting melody that played on their deepest fears. The students knew they had to stay together and keep moving, no matter how dire the situation seemed. Their only hope was to outsmart the spirits and find a way out of the nightmare that had become their reality. Section 10. Haunted Forevermore. In the heart of a small, forgotten town, there lies an old schoolhouse, its walls whispering tales of sorrow and despair. The building, now a shadow of its former self, stands as a grim reminder of a night that changed everything. The students were never seen again. On that fateful night, the air was thick with an unexplainable tension, and the once lively classrooms fell silent. The laughter and chatter of children were replaced by an eerie stillness broken only by the occasional creak of the old wooden floors. Some say their souls became trapped within the school, forced to relive the horrors of that night for all eternity. The walls, now covered in dust and cobwebs, seemed to echo with the faint cries and whispers of those lost souls, forever bound to the place of their demise. Others believe they managed to escape, forever scarred by their encounter with the dark forces that haunted the school. Those who survived spoke of shadowy figures and cold, unseen hands that seemed to reach out from the darkness, grasping at their very souls. But one thing is certain: the old schoolhouse on the hill remains a place of fear and dread, a haunting reminder of the darkness that can lurk in the most unexpected of places. The townsfolk avoid it, their eyes filled with a mixture of fear and reverence whenever they speak of it. The desks, forever stained with the terror and despair of those who perished within those walls, stand as silent sentinels waiting for their next victims. Each desk tells a story, a tale of innocence lost and dreams shattered, now covered in a thick layer of dust and neglect. The school, forever haunted, stands as a chilling testament to the enduring power of fear and the restless spirits that walk among us. It serves as a stark reminder that some places are best left undisturbed, their secrets buried deep within the shadows, waiting to ensnare the unwary.